And if you can believe it, it is Tuesday once again. Welcome back to the Viva Film Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Caleb. I think I said host and not hosts. I am one of your hosts, Caleb. And I'm joined here by my wonderful co-host, the wonderfully bizarre, the wickedly talented Anthony. Anthony, how the hell are you doing today?
Sometimes it feels like we ourselves live in a David Lynch film, and there's not much we can do about it. But other than that, I'm doing okay. How are you doing, Caleb? What has your week been?
It's been kind of a weird week.
Yeah,
Mostly because I at work I crushed my thumb, so it's like still
yikes.
healing. But thankfully it's I'm doing okay. It's like I can still use it and everything. But yeah, for about a day I was like, oh, this is some of the worst pain I've ever been in. Actually,
Right. Yeah.
um, it's
Well,
not
shit,
fun.
shit, man. I'm really sorry that happened.
Well, it's okay. It's you don't realize how important your thumb is until you like hurt it in any way, and then you're like, oh wow, I need this for everything.
Yeah, yeah. Thumbs are important, almost as important as the middle finger.
Exactly.
And you can put them both together, a thumb and a middle finger, and then you got a really cool little hand gesture that you can use the next time you see an ICE officer in your town. So yeah,
That's what I did. Do you remember when we were going to watch? I think it was when we went to go watch Bring Her Back. Yeah,
Hmm.
and there was that dude driving around, and there were literally like protests happening downtown,
Yeah.
or like nearby, and it was getting like pretty tense. And there was like this dude in like a Jesus car, like rolling around prophesizing, and I just gave him one of those.
Just give him a quick little like little bit of this, little bit of this, little bit of that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
exactly. And that was the day where you were wearing your um oh, I can't think of the name of the movie, but you were in like a really cool shirt as you often do. And this dude was like, "Hey man, cool shirt," and he was trying to get you to like sign up for or sign up to like a really bad petition.
Yeah, it was a petition from last year. I forget what the whole deal was, but it was basically like it was an anti-labor petition that was disguised as a pro-labor petition. But anyways,
Yeah,
um, yeah. I mean, speaking of shirts, today I'm wearing Twin Peaks: Fix Your Hearts or Die. Let me see here. What is there? It is. Um, so yeah, we're keeping on brand with the themed shirts. Last week was what shirt did I wear last week? Eraserhead.
yeah,
And this week I'm wearing the Twin Peaks shirt, and you have a Godzilla shirt.
yeah. I got a little
So
Godzilla on my shirt,
there we
and
go.
he's and now maybe not on theme, but I think in spirit, Godzilla has a lot in common with David Lynch.
I feel like David Lynch probably liked Godzilla, or at least had a respect for him in a way,
Yeah,
the way that many like really successful and influential artists tend to. So
yeah, because Godzilla, he's a special guy, and like we're all Godzilla.
maybe deep down inside, we're all Godzilla.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Um, Caleb, speaking of Twin Peaks, I see that you're currently in the Red Room. Is everything okay?
It's rough. It's rough out here.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know
The
my name or who I am.
you're speaking
Um,
backwards.
yeah, exactly. And it's just things just aren't how what they seem.
Yeah.
You know,
Maybe your favorite gum will come back in style.
exactly. We can only hope. I
Yeah.
haven't had Hubba Bubba in quite a minute.
No.
Hubba Bubba is okay. I'm sorry. How often do you, as an adult, say the words Hubba Bubba? Like I've never had to like say that like out loud in like 20 years. So I'm like Hubba Bubba. It
You
sounds
know,
ridiculous.
I say it more often than one would think.
Yeah,
I'm constantly presented opportunities to drop hubba bubba into plain conversation. So,
yeah. Like when you see a beautiful woman or a man or they them.
um, no, because I respect them. I don't. I'm not going to. I'm not going to catcall people in public, and especially
Well, no,
not
yeah,
with
that's not,
hubba bubba. That doesn't
that'd
make
be
any sense.
insane.
That's
Uh,
absurd, Caleb. What
yeah,
is
I
this? Some
wonder.
kind of podcast about experimental filmmakers? What?
Yeah, it's like, and I bet that it probably doesn't even taste that good.
Hubba Bubba?
in
I don't know.
retrospect?
I'm not really big on like fruity or sweet gum. I prefer mint gum.
Okay.
Um, so I'm not sure, and I don't even remember what Hubba Bubba tastes like. I assume it's just like a bubblegum flavored gum, right?
No, they have like a lot of like they have the grape flavor, sour apple. I like the grape flavor a lot as a kid.
Okay.
I would
Okay.
chew like four or five pieces at once and then turn it into like a big giant piece of gum that I would
Mm,
have to like smack.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
Caleb, maybe your favorite gum will come back in style.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't want this episode to be feature length necessarily this week, but real quick, have you been watching anything this week? Do you have any recommendations that you want to give to the lovely listeners today?
Yes, yeah, I saw three films this past week that I'm going to shout out. The first film is I saw Chronology of Water, which was the directorial debut of Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart, of course, is the very talented actress who we all know as Bella Swan from Twin Peaks. However, if you watch other movies as well, or not Twin Peaks, I'm sorry, Bella
Yeah.
Swan. I got Twin Peaks on the mind, obviously. Bella
Uh,
Swan from Twilight, which sometimes watching Twilight feels like an episode of Twin Peaks.
yeah.
Um, but of course, she was also in good movies as well, such as Spencer or Personal Shopper or Camp X-Ray. But yeah, Chronology of Water was fantastic. It was really, really good. Highly recommend checking it out. If it's playing anywhere near you, go watch it. And then, of course, Academy Award nominated film, The Ugly Stepsister, which was one of my favorite movies from last year. I watched it again. They played it at the New Beverly Cinema in LA with an introduction by the cinematographer. Great experience seeing in theaters, hearing everyone's reactions because it is an uncomfortable movie, but it is so good. And then, of course, last night I saw Send Help, the new Sam Raimi picture, and another great movie to see in a theater, in a packed theater, hearing everyone's reaction. That movie was a lot of fun, and I think that people are going to have a lot of fun with that film. And Rachel McAdams is fucking great, so highly recommend all three of those: Send Help, Chronology of Water, and um, the other one, Ugly Stepsister. Go watch all three of them
Yeah.
at
And those are
once.
three movies I have. Oh my God.
So
Um, those are three movies I have not seen, unfortunately. So and they're all three that I very much want to check out. Ugly Stepsister, I should have watched like 6 months ago. I don't know what's wrong with me. Um, but so I this week, I saw one movie in theaters,
mhm.
and then I also watched one at home. I watched The Running Man, the remake, the Edgar Wright flick, and I know it's gotten kind of a mixed reception, but I thought it was perfectly fine. It's like pretty solid.
Nice.
Enjoyed a
Yeah.
lot of elements of it. It's got some good set pieces. Glenn Powell's great. Michael Cera's great.
Hmm.
It's really entertaining. I mean, even I mean, you were talking about this before the podcast, but even an Edgar Wright movie that isn't like that is just like fine is still better than like most movies. Um,
It'll at the very least it'll be entertaining. Like he's a very
yeah,
good director.
no,
So
he really is.
even if like the script isn't very good or if the actors are kind of phoning it in or whatever, which I can't think of an Edgar Wright movie where that happens. I feel like I've enjoyed all of them. But no, I mean it's still like visually very entertaining. So that's
Yeah,
what I would say.
no, yeah, like Edgar Wright's the fucking he's the best. He's like one of my favorite filmmakers.
Hmm.
I really like him a lot.
Yeah.
And then I also yesterday in theaters got the chance to watch The Voice of Hind Rajab,
Yeah.
which thankfully got nominated for Best International Feature. And yeah, you have to like if you're listening to this, you needed to go watch it. I know that you said in your review on Letterboxd that it's a must watch, and
Hmm.
I agree with that. You need to, especially if you're if you're a fence sitter or don't understand that genocide is bad. You definitely need to watch this. I think it could open your mind and like help you actually understand what's going on and that real life people are affected by this shit.
Yeah.
And but regardless, you need to watch it. It's an extremely important story. It is very well done, and it's not easy to sit through, but you need to sit through it. So
Yeah, definitely. And
yeah,
sometimes the films that make us feel the most uncomfortable are the ones that need to be watched. So
no, exactly.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I highly recommend that film as well. So those are like what, like five movies we recommended?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's your homework this week.
That's your homework this week, guys. Listen, that's why we do the podcast, was because we love movies, we love talking about movies, and we love to share our love of films. That's why we're all here, right, everyone?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And also, in the spirit of David Lynch, I wanted to give a weird recommendation that is not a movie, it's not a comic book, it's not a book, it's not a music, it's not a picture of any kind.
Hmm.
For anyone who's listening who likes to drink and with how fucked the world is right now, you probably do. I wanted to recommend a cocktail, and I'm sure I'm not the first person who's ever created this, but it was kind of spontaneous, and it is very much something that I think is slightly related to David Lynch, even though that wasn't my intention when I made it. Was and this is very simple. This is what you do: you take a glass, you fill it up with some ice, you pour yourself 2 ounces of vanilla vodka. You then put yourself a little maraschino cherry in there. You let it kind of marinate in the vodka for a second. I usually put it in last for a garnish, but wanted to put it in first for this one. And then you add, fill the rest of your glass with some refreshing diet soda or diet Coke, or even just regular Coke or soda if you want to.
Hmm.
You mix that together, and you have yourself something that tastes like it's right out of one of those self-serve machines at like Jack in the Box or something.
Interesting. Okay.
Just a delightful vanilla Coke.
Wonderful. Well, I mean, our listeners will have to try that out. I cannot drink that because it has vodka, and I don't drink vodka anymore. But
Yeah,
our listeners will have to let me know how good it is. So,
exactly.
yeah.
Um, and but yeah, so I do I don't usually recommend cocktails on here, but that is like one of my hobbies, one of my passions. It's how
Hmm.
I've made money doing it also. So
Yeah,
it's a
and
thing.
and you've made good cocktails. I've been to little soirees, little get-togethers at your place, and you always entertain with a good cocktail. So
Oh, thank you. And my powers have only doubled since the last time you tried one of mine.
yeah, like yeah, I'm no longer the master. It is now you who's become the master.
Yeah, and
So
that's how we're going to secretly transition into this is now an episode about Star Wars. Everybody, woo!
oh God, no,
First up, A New Hope, directed by George Lucas. Written, no, obviously
um,
kidding. We're not that desperate.
not yet. No,
No,
this
yeah.
week this week we're doing Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me and Lost Highway. Um, Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, Caleb.
Yes.
Fire Walk with Me. I mean, that sounds pretty weird. That's
That
not
is pretty
I
weird.
don't I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know how I feel about this being weird. David
Yeah.
Lynch films being weird. I don't know, man.
What is
What
this? Some kind of David Lynch?
what is this? Some kind of David Lynch film? First off, Twin Peaks, the television show, one of my favorite shows.
Yes.
Would you rank it as one of your favorite shows as well?
I would. I mean, like, I haven't shown my tattoo yet, but I think you can get a pretty good look
There we
at
go.
my
There it
showing off.
is.
I haven't been working out a lot lately, but you can see my nice Twin Peaks tattoo. Um, and it's like, yeah, it's one of my absolute favorites of all time.
Hmm.
I love Twin Peaks. I think it's great. I've loved it since I was 16, and I love it more and more the older I get.
Yeah.
And the more I appreciate like art and like also just what it's doing. Because when I first watched it, I was like, oh, this is just weird, but I'm digging it. And now I'm
Hmm.
like, what it was accomplishing with its like satirization of like soap operas,
Yeah.
but then also like creating these really memorable and unique characters. I mean, this is one of the most influential shows of all time. It has been parodied endlessly in like Scooby Doo. They do the Psych episode about it. Um,
Video
and
games as well. Alan Wake, very famously, is very inspired by Twin Peaks.
Deadly Premonition is literally
Hmm.
just Twin Peaks the game.
Yeah.
And then there's another one I was going to reference. What was it?
Well, there was also in music as well. Like Sky Ferreira has a song that's called "Nighttime," where she has like the lyrics "Nighttime is my time," and she does
Oh
the
yeah,
"Faster and Faster," which is in Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. And I mean, how fucking cool for her because she had that in her album that song, which the title is escaping me. But then she ended up being in The Return. She's in Twin Peaks: The Return, which is
oh yeah.
pretty fucking cool. So no, I mean Twin Peaks and David Lynch have been very influential throughout multiple mediums: TV shows, cartoons, other films, music, video games. comic books, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's the best, and it's like and oh, I know what I was gonna say is it inspired the Legend of Zelda in a way where there was one I think it was Ocarina of Time maybe I'm not 100%. There's one of them where they were very like they were like we have to like make every character unique and stand out like in Twin Peaks.
hmm
And Twin
yeah.
Peaks is a great example of how to like write characters in TV shows because everyone has a different main character. Like you can say a lot of different stuff as much about Big Ed Hurley as you
hmm
can about like Log Lady, and I think that's lovely.
Yeah, and it's definitely it's one of those shows where like every character is someone's favorite character.
Yeah,
Like I've mentioned a few times to you and as well as on the show that like I really love the character of Audrey.
yeah,
I just think that she's really cool. And of course there's so many other characters throughout. You have like Dale Cooper, you have Sheriff Truman, you have the other sheriffs who are working there who are all
yeah,
what was it, Andy, who's hilarious.
yes.
But yeah, I mean, who's your favorite character in the Twin Peaks show, Caleb?
Okay, so like I have the maybe obvious answer is that I love a Dale Cooper.
hmm
I just love Kyle MacLachlan. I think his performance is great, and I think like he just gets it. And I think in general, I think as far as like not counting his like leading ladies, but like as far as like male actors that he worked with, I think that Kyle MacLachlan is like my favorite David Lynch actor. Like that pairing,
Yeah.
I think that he is fucking incredible. Like so good. Love Dale Cooper, obviously, but apart from him. I would say, oh man, oh my god, I'm trying to think of James. Obviously, no, but it's is I would say, okay, I think I love everybody so much. Obviously, Log Lady is great. I love
hmm
Laura Palmer. I think Laura
Yeah.
Palmer is fucking incredible. I think Ben Horn is really interesting when he's not having his weird Confederacy subplot. That was so stupid. Sorry, I don't
Well,
normally insult.
that was in
That,
season two, right?
yeah, it was season two.
Yeah. I mean, season two had some weird shit going on. There was when Nadine went back to high school. Uh,
That's great. That was great. I love that subplot.
right.
But I love Audrey. I think Donna can be pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, yeah. Donna's cool.
I love I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but it's Joan Chen's character.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of the character's name, but like she's fantastic. It's like I kind of love everybody,
hmm
and it's just great. And then I think the return also does a lot to like amplify a lot of these characters and pay them. Oh, I'm sorry. You know who I was gonna say was Bobby. I think Bobby is like
Yeah.
excellent also. But yeah, it's just it's such a great show with so many standout performances and characters, and like everyone just understands the assignment. Like I don't think there's really a weak link. Like I made fun of James a little bit, but like James serves his purpose.
He
It's not always
does.
an entertaining purpose, and sometimes he like runs away to go like like do hook up with like a MILF and like drive around his motorcycle. But like James is interesting. He's a very integral piece to the whole puzzle.
Whether you like it or not.
Exactly, and he does. I mean, he does give heavy like David Boreanaz's energy, like in the early seasons of Buffy.
Okay.
So it's like it's a little bit like it just depends on how much you like the like stoic like love interest white guy.
Right.
But he's not too bad. And in Fire Walk with Me, I mean, I think he works in this movie.
Yeah.
Um,
No, he does.
and in general, like I think that like you have these 30 episodes of this really great series that does get very goofy in season two,
hmm
and then and then the show gets canceled, and then you get David Lynch, is able to do this feature that kind of like goes back and explains how Laura Palmer actually. I mean, we know that she was murdered, but like we go back and we kind of see the end of her life.
Yeah, yeah, and the really, I mean, so as you said, Twin Peaks gets canceled after season two,
Yes.
and it has this very iconic season two finale that everyone
Oh,
knows,
yes.
with one of the most iconic, ending shots of an entire show. Total cliffhanger. Like, what the fuck is happening? What's going on? What happens next? Right?
Where's Annie?
Where's Annie? What's going on with Dale? Why is Bob here? right? So the show gets canceled. Everyone is like, okay, well, what the fuck happened? And then David Lynch says, all right, well, I'm going to make a movie. And everyone wants the movie to explain what happened. They want the movie to
Yeah.
come out and continue the story, basically be like a season three, right?
Yeah.
To like explain what happened to Coop, what happened to Annie, what's going on. And David Lynch says, no, I'm not doing that. I'm doing something completely different.
Yeah. You're
And
getting a 35-minute prologue that's like not even in
yeah,
Twin Peaks.
yes, the 35-minute prologue, which is almost kind of like a bizarro Twin Peaks, where we
Yeah.
have like a different FBI agent, there's a different murder, there's a different town that has its own diner that's also weird and has weird patrons.
Yeah.
And this goes on for 30 minutes. And the film is a little over 2 hours, about 2 hours and 15 minutes long, right? So it's almost like an entire episode of Twin Peaks, almost like 10 minutes shy of a full episode. Um, and then and then we get into the actual movie proper, which is the final days of Laura Palmer. This is not at all what people wanted, Caleb.
No, yeah, because it just didn't get a good reception really at the time. Like people were very upset about this movie.
People really hated this film. Like it's not like, oh, they didn't like it. Like people were genuinely really pissed off when this came out. And I feel like this kind of like started, I don't want to say it's the downfall of David Lynch, but I think it's where we ended up, where you had David Lynch like not making anything for 15 years,
Yeah.
because it became more and more difficult for him to get funding for these projects and for these films. And I think some of it does have to do with kind of the very sour reception of not only season two of Twin Peaks, but also Fire Walk with Me as well. So,
Yeah, and it's such a shame too because like I think that this is a movie that like it's gained a real cult following and people, especially now that The Return has happened also, I
yeah.
think people have which by the way, I'm sure we'll talk about The Return on this podcast one day.
Hmm.
But I think it's his like actual like masterpiece. Like I
Right.
think The Return is like one of the best seasons of television ever. Like if not the best. Like not to give not to praise it too highly, but I think it's fucking incredible. And I think because of how amazing that was, how different that was,
Hmm.
people went back to Firewalk with me and they were like, "Holy shit, this is like actually an amazing movie." Which it is. It's like very well done, and it's got all that David Lynch stuff you want. Where it's got 30 minutes where you're like, this is this is a prologue that like almost feels unrelated, but it's very necessary.
Hmm.
And then you have like it's got everything you'd want and need, and it's upsetting. It's not easy to watch a lot of the time. There's some. I mean, Sheryl Lee acts her fucking ass off in this.
Yeah. Talk about like just absolutely incredible performance. Like genre defining, really. And it's really like, I know there's a part of me that's like, I love that she's in this, I really do, but then I'm just like, okay, but why wasn't she in more? Like, why wasn't Cheryl Lee like one of the biggest stars of the 90s, when
Drives
it's
me insane.
clear just how fucking incredible and how talented she was. Who knows what the hell was going on in the 90s. The 90s was a weird time, man. um
Yeah, because I think she could. It's crazy because like you have like I think when it comes to like actors where like who were in like really great like genre TV shows, who then I feel like didn't do as much as they could have outside of it. Is you have like Sheryl Lee in the '90s, and even now, like I feel like she should be doing more cool stuff. Like she's fucking great.
mhm.
And then you have in the 2000s Sarah Michelle Gellar. I feel like is very similar, where like she did Buffy and then was supposed to be Cameron Diaz's character in Gangs of New York, had to drop out because of Buffy,
Mhm.
and then it was like, oh, like, and she's done stuff and she's great.
She
Like
was
she's
in
phenomenal.
Scooby-Doo,
She was in Scooby Doo.
one of the
Very
greatest films of the 2000s, man.
yeah, very iconic. And like,
Yeah.
it and it's like, but like I feel like she could have like she has so much range and could have done like even more stuff. And it's like it's always a shame when you see actors like that where it's like because I feel like sometimes I'm not trying to name any names, but let's just say their names rhymes with like Jared Leto, who gets like a million chances to shit the bed. And like it just keeps happening. Like the bed is just is brown now. The sheets are ruined permanently. Throw them away. What is this metaphor? I'm getting away from myself. My point is, Shirley is a fucking great actor.
Cheryl Lee is fantastic, and I like when she said it's Twin Peaks time, and then Twin Peaked all over those guys.
That was
um,
crazy.
that was that was nuts. I mean, really, because we're already talking about it, but you know, Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, directed by David Lynch, written by David Lynch and Robert Engels. Twin Peaks was created by David Lynch and Mark Frost. Cinematography by Ronald Victor Garcia. Edited by Mary Sweeney, starring, of course, the wonderful, amazing Cheryl Lee, Ray Weiss, Madchen Amick, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, Dana Ashbrook, Phoebe Augustine, David Bowie, Eric DeRay, Miguel Ferrer, Pamela Gidley, Heather Graham, Chris Isaac, Moira Kelly, Peggy Lipton, David Lynch himself, James Marshall, Harry Dean Stanton, Kiefer Sutherland, Lenny Von Dolan, Grace Zabriskie, Kyle MacLachlan, Francis Bay, Catherine E. Coulson, Michael J. Anderson, Frank Silva, Walter Olkowicz, Al Strobel, Sandra Kinder, Gary Bullock, and Julie Cruz herself, who, of course, sings the Twin Peaks theme, which I've told you in the past, and I guess we're saying this now on the podcast. The theme song for Twin Peaks is an actual song by Julie Cruz called Falling, which is wonderful, and she performs it in the pilot episode of Twin Peaks. And the song is a song that she wrote about her cat, which is
Yes.
just wonderful.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, getting back to this 35-minute prologue, what do you think about this? Because this almost feels like its own movie, or as I put it earlier, like in like just a whole separate episode of Twin Peaks. What's going on here, man?
Well, you know what's interesting is like I'm it has one of my favorite scenes in the movie, which is when the woman with the red hair with the red um
The red
suit
dress,
and
yeah, and
the red dress and the blue rose, where
yes,
she's like doing all this weird stuff, and Kiefer Sutherland's like, "What the fuck is this?" And the dude's like, "No, you don't get it. It's like we're gonna understand everything based on
hmm
these clues that she gives us." And it's like what I think is a very clear metaphor for like the entire show
yeah,
of Twin Peaks, which is like, don't you get it? Like this means this, like this person saying that, or like Log Lady saying that, it's like it's very charming. And it also shows that I think that like David Lynch isn't like, no, don't get me wrong. David Lynch is just a mysterious, cool guy who like is very like um uh what was there's a term I'm trying to say where he's very like he's
and
very
enigmatic.
enigmatic. That's what I'm trying to say. Where it's like
Okay.
where his dialogue and ideas in his films aren't always like obvious.
hmm
But I think he's also aware of that. So this is kind of like almost like a joke about that in a way.
hmm
I find it very charming. I'm a big fan of that moment. And it really is like this, like, because it's very similar, because it is connected directly to the death of Laura Palmer. But it's
Yes.
also like it is just this it is this like mini Twin Peaks, like you were saying, like this like bizarro Twin Peaks where like they like go to the sheriff's, but like the sheriffs like in Twin Peaks are just kind of nice and like but in Andy's case he's just goofy,
Yeah.
and but like they're just nice and normal, helping out. And then for in this prologue they act more like how real cops do, where they're abrasive and don't want to help or do their jobs at all. And it's like very it's really, there's that great moment too where they're like, yeah, the coffee's about 2 days old. And one agent whose name I can't remember just goes like, yeah, we're gonna take that fresh coffee now. Like he's just like starts to like shit all over them, and it's hilarious. It's great.
Yeah.
And then you also end up with that wonderful scene with Harry Dean Stanton
hmm
where he's just like really annoyed. And of course, our viewers will know Harry Dean Stanton best for his iconic role as Guy, who was in the Avengers and saw the Hulk naked. Um, and Harry Dean Stanton is another one where I love him with David Lynch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like he's
Hey,
phenomenal.
Harry Dean Stanton is a fantastic actor, a great fucking character actor, and he's been in some really iconic films. I mean, obviously, Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me, Paris, Texas, Repo Man. Great fucking films. Great actor, and I love that he's in this, and I love that they brought him back for the return as well, and that was really
Yes.
cool. So, especially because like he I think he ended up passing away just a few years after that.
Yeah. And that's the thing that's really sad is like, I know we talked about this in Star Trek.
hmm
But one thing too with David Lynch's stuff is like, because he made movies for 50 years, and like, a lot of the people involved have passed away.
Yeah,
Um,
especially with Twin Peaks, a lot of the people involved with Twin Peaks have passed. I mean, obviously, like Angelo Badalamenti passed. I know Julie Cruz passed away a couple of years ago. Of course, David himself passed away last year. Um, yeah, it's just Log Lady passed away.
David Bowie.
Yeah, David Bowie passed away, and of course, Log Lady played by Catherine E. Coulson, who had been involved with David and his films going all the way back to Eraserhead, which some people may not know. She also worked on Star Trek: Wrath of Khan as a assistant camera person, so
Oh yeah.
that's a nice connection there. Speaking of women that have been involved with David Lynch, the film is edited by Mary Sweeney. Mary
Yes.
Sweeney was David Lynch's wife and produced a lot of his films.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
so
right.
it's really cool to see that, she's involved with this, and she will also be editing the next film we'll be talking about in a bit here. But yeah, one thing that David Lynch seemed to really like to do, which is something that I've done on my that I would like to do on my projects, is just surrounding yourself with women who know what the fuck they're doing and get shit done, which
Yeah.
is great. So
No, yeah.
yeah, so good for him.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like and God, this is such a like yeah, I think the prologue is really excellent. They do spend a lot of time looking at the dead body
Hmm.
because you're supposed to get that visual connection to Laura Palmer.
Yeah,
It is such a I'm a something that's a little nitpicky that I did notice, and I'm not saying this is bad. This doesn't have I wouldn't deduct points from this or anything. But like you can kind of
is
see her
this
eyes.
is this gonna be a CinemaSins like ding
Yeah,
when every time you see her kind of breathe a little bit?
yeah, you can definitely see that she's like not actually dead, which is perfectly fine because she is an alive person.
Yeah,
Um, but I'm just I did notice that a little bit last night watching it. But it's like it's no big deal. And but how do you feel about the prologue?
I'm the first time I saw it, I was confused. I was like, "What the hell is going on? Who are these people? Why is Kiefer
Yeah,
Sutherland here?"
yeah,
But no, I mean, I really enjoy it, and I like this kind of like mirror universe Twin Peaks that we have going on. Um, how many more references to Star Trek will we have? We'll find out. Um, but no, I just I think it's great, right? Because one thing that about David Lynch that I really like is that he really has a sense of humor,
oh yeah,
and I think that he definitely the point of this was to tell a story and to tell this from Laura Palmer's point of view, to give the victim, you know, the victim of this crime, to give them their due, right? Because in so many TV shows and movies, when we have like a murder mystery, the victim is just a prop.
yeah,
They're just, they are this like, you know, corpse that just exists within the world of the film or the world of the TV show. And David Lynch takes that victim and makes them the protagonist. And I think that's incredible. But also at the same time, I think David Lynch was kind of just like maybe out of frustration because of all the bullshit that he had to deal with to even make Twin Peaks the TV show.
yeah,
But there's definitely a few moments in here where it does feel like he's fucking with us.
yeah,
Whether it be like the woman with the with the red dress and the blue rose, whether it be the fake out of the beginning where you think it's going to be Coulson and it's not Coulson,
yeah,
and then when you finally do see Coulson, he's there, and then he's not in the rest of the movie until the very end. It's like it's to quote the band Public Image Limited, this is what you want and this is what you get.
yeah,
And what we got was a film that frustrated a lot of people when it first came out, and now I think really stands the test of time. And I think within the context of Twin Peaks, when you take into account the TV show and the return, Firewalk with Me just makes the most sense. It is like
yeah,
it it fits so perfectly. And I think that's why Twin Peaks should be experienced as a whole. It should, be experienced, as one big giant fucking thing. Um, and it's just it's great. And I think that this film is really good, and it's heart-wrenching. It's hard to watch like you mentioned earlier. And yeah, it's really good. Do you have any final thoughts on the prologue?
Um, I just quite like it. I remember the first time I watched it, about 3 years ago.
Hmm.
I did my big Twin Peaks rewatch, and then I finally watched The Return. I hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
And I watched this in between because I also hadn't seen Fire Walk with Me, and I was blown away. Like during that prologue, I was just like, "What are we doing? I can't wait to see what we're doing." I was into
Hmm.
it. I was like, Harry Dean Stanton's here. This is great.
Yes.
Also, Kiefer Sutherland's here. I think some really weird stuff happened with him in real life this week. Um, weirdly, but yeah.
Mm.
But it's just it's a I dig the prologue a lot. And even though like it's like yeah, I enjoy like the actual like final 7 days of Laura Palmer portion more, but the prologue is a wonderful necessary element of it, and I think it fits really well. And then you have the great bit in between where Kyle MacLachlan, where Dale Cooper is talking about how he knows that like this killer is gonna strike again. He knows that she's blonde, she's in high school, she's doing drugs,
Yeah.
and then it's and it's like when is this gonna happen? It's like 1 year later, and then it cuts to like the Welcome to Twin Peaks, and they do the theme song plays by Julie Cruz,
Yeah.
and that's a great fucking scene. Every scene in this movie is a pretty good scene, I would say. I think this is a wonderful film. I think it's very good.
Yeah, it's a very well made film. We also get David Bowie. David Bowie's in here for
Yes,
like a scene.
he's doing like a southern accent or something.
Something, yeah. Apparently, there were plans that Lynch wanted to make a film with Bowie, or like a film with Bowie's character from this thing. However, it just didn't ended up not happening. But what a surprise that was! And
Yeah,
for people who don't know, Bowie has acted before. He's acted in The Man Who Fell to Earth. He also acted in there was that Christmas movie he was in where he played a POW in a Japanese prison camp, which the name is escaping me. But yeah, Bowie, my two favorite Davids, David Lynch and David Bowie. Here they
yeah.
are. Yeah.
It's funny too because like we literally just like a couple weeks ago or like a month ago at this point, we talked about Star Trek Six, where his wife Amon was in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's so
so
many connections
it's
here. Star Trek
yeah,
and David Lynch have many more connections than most people know.
yeah, no, exactly, and like
Yeah.
it's but I think Bowie like he's obviously like I also like as you can see it's kind of awkward angle, but like I have a like two David Bowie tattoos.
Hmm.
He's I don't know how my arm works. I'm sorry guys,
That's
but
okay.
it's a David Bowie is one of my favorite artists of all time. I'm like a huge
Hmm.
fan. And I really love that he's in this, and even though he's in it for like he had like maybe 5 lines,
Yeah.
if that, it's such a weird and unsettling moment, and it fits perfectly with the vibe. And you're never distracted by like, oh, this is a David Bowie cameo. It's just like David Bowie shows up and is great. And it's insanely unsettling, and it leads to that weird like that like meeting with all like those characters like related to like the Black Lodge, and it's just like
Yeah.
it's freaky. It's very like I was watching this pretty late last night, and like that's one thing I find about this movie is that like it creeps me the fuck out
Yeah. Yeah.
like a
Absolutely.
lot. Like it actually like I found myself feeling like unsettled, and it could be I could have been exhausted from work. I can make all these excuses, but I think it's just a very well done horror film.
Yes, yes, it absolutely is, and it is very horrifying. It is horrifying seeing the trauma and the abuse that Laura Palmer suffered. That we see in the latter half of the film, which again is I think like an important aspect of her story, and yeah, I mean, so we get through this prologue, we get through the David Bowie bit, and now we're with Laura Palmer in her final days. Someone needs to get this girl help. Someone needs to help her out, man. And that's like the biggest that's obviously is a theme throughout the TV show, but especially here is just that like Laura was not having a good time.
Yeah.
And nobody noticed, nobody really cared, and it ended up with her ultimate demise. This is such a tragic film. It might be one of David's most tragic films.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what do we think about Laura and her last days before she was murdered by her own father?
Yeah. Well, it's so sad because like you have obviously like everyone in her life was like trying to get something from her,
Hmm.
or was manipulating her. So like, even like, so for example, Bobby, who is a fucking asshole. His entire thing, he just wants to like, he just gives her drugs, like he gets her hooked on cocaine, and is just like sleeping with her. Doesn't really like have any actual care for her.
Hmm.
At the time, obviously that like changes as he progresses his character, but like he doesn't really like he's a very selfish asshole kind of guy.
Yeah.
You have the fucking the guy with the glasses who she gives her diary to. I cannot remember his fucking name off the top of my head.
Dr. Jacoby?
No, it's the other guy. Well, Dr. Jacoby's definitely part of it, but like it's
Sure.
fucking what is Ben Horn's brother's name?
Oh, I don't recall. I'm sorry.
I can't remember, but yeah, but like it's just like you have all these characters that like are always like wanting something from her, or like, and then of course you get the really distant like Jacques. I mean, the way he treats her is horrific.
Yeah.
He has the grossest line in the entire movie, where he's says like he's like, oh well, if it isn't like, what does he call her and the other girl? He calls her like his high school sandwich
Hmm.
or something like that. It's like so creepy and disgusting, and like she can't ask for help because like with James does care about her and love her, but it's just this high school like, I love you, I long for you. Like they're not like, he's not like
Yeah.
thinking about her outside of that.
Hmm.
And with Donna, I think she's a little in over her head and doesn't quite realize the gravity of it, even when she sees it firsthand. I
Yeah.
think it more becomes this thing where she's like shocked and is also maybe like weirdly possibly competing with her. I don't know how you view that scene, but
The
it's
scene where
or trying to,
where they're at the bar and she's like getting into what Laura's doing.
yeah, where she's like trying to
Yeah.
like, or I don't know if it's that she's trying to like be like Laura, or something
I,
like that, where it's like, again, it's that, or sorry, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say like I feel like maybe she is trying to be like Laura, like maybe she's trying to join Laura to feel like a sense of being close to her. And when
Yeah.
Laura sees that, she freaks out because she knows that like once you go down that path, it's hard not to go. So even though Laura is in this very fucked up state of mind, she still very much is protective of her friends and doesn't want them to have the same uh the same outcome that she ends up having.
Yeah, and you also have with and she can't go to her, and Laura can't go to her parents for help for obvious reasons.
Well, yeah, I mean, her father is abusing her. We see throughout the film, and then her mother is trying to, I don't stop it, but clearly is also herself a victim of abuse. You know,
Yeah,
and yeah, that's definitely a really, I mean, that specifically that scene where they're getting ready to have dinner and he's telling Laura that she needs to wash her hands. Like that scene is just so, just unbelievably uncomfortable and just so fucked up. And it kind of encapsulates everything about the film in that one scene of just like the terror that people live in when they're with somebody who is abusive and how it just completely like fucks with your entire perception of reality. Like it's a real issue. It's a real thing, and that's why it's so hard for people to get out of that cycle of terror, because you do become like a prisoner of this of this environment that this abusive asshole has created around you to control you and to scare you into submission. It's fucked
yeah,
up, man. That's like the
yeah,
whole point of the movie is that Laura Palmer was a victim, and
yeah,
she's not just a she's not just a an object, right?
yeah. And it's like also like you also get like the fact that like obviously like is in the literal sense of the film, like there is like possession happening,
Hmm.
but it's also a clear metaphor for how that is in like real life, where like it's like especially for, okay, this is getting very heavy. I just wanted to say, so like for anybody who's uncomfortable with what we're talking about and you don't want to listen for reasons like that, I totally understand. But for people who are abused from like very young ages, even though you know that you're being abused, you might not realize that like until you're older, like exactly like that is what's happening to you.
Yeah.
is that it's not normal and that you are being abused. So, for example, with Laura, she's been being abused by her father for years, and then even though she's seeing it as Bob, it's she isn't real. And we get that horrific scene in the movie where she realizes,
Hmm.
and it's awful. It's so sad, and it's like, but it's this thing of like, this of also the fact that it's like, the abusers also aren't like abusive all of the time, but they
Yeah.
can be abusive at a moment's notice. You
Yeah, and,
know?
and that just adds more to the tension for people who are in that environment because you never know when this person is going to fly off the handle.
Yeah,
You never know when they're going to switch personalities and become that become that entity, right? And I think
yeah,
that's maybe what what Lynch was trying to get across with like the with Bob as the entity, right? That it's this thing that can kind of and anyone can be a host to it, and it
yeah.
can take over at a moment's notice. And of course, we see that in the show quite a bit. We also see it obviously in the film. But yeah, it's uncomfortable. It's supposed to be uncomfortable, and it's scary. It's really scary being in that kind of situation.
Yeah, and I know I talked about this in the Blue Velvet episode, but like you do see that with Frank and Blue Velvet as well, where it's like
Hmm.
even though like there's nothing on the surface supernatural in Blue Velvet, that
Sure.
Frank is very much this embodiment of like abuse and like toxic masculinity for sure, and like this just being like horrifically like abusive to women, and you see that with like what Bob represents, like amplified in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Also, and it's this theme that he keeps going back to, and I think for like good reason is because this is shit that happens. A lot of people are abusive, and a lot of people survive abuse and are still around like long after and have to keep living and have to try to like come to terms with like the horrific shit that happened to them.
Yeah. Yeah. And in a lot of these situations, victims of abuse, the perpetrator of that abuse is somebody that they know.
Yeah, no,
It
exactly.
is it's a family friend or a family member. In this case, it was Laura's father. Contrary to what some politicians might tell you, the abuse doesn't come from immigrants who are just trying to pick vegetables. It doesn't come from drag queens who are reading. It doesn't come from trans athletes who are just trying to you know do a track meet. Abuse comes from people that and people that they trust, like
Yeah,
parents, family members, family friends, pastors, teachers, youth group leaders, priests. That's where the abuse comes from, and that's where kids, young people, a lot of times are in danger is from those people that they trust.
yeah,
Just statistically speaking, that's the reality. So
yeah,
yeah. Anyways, how do we transition from here? I mean,
yeah,
we see the last few days of her life and the terror and torment that she suffers until she's finally killed, which is done in a way that is shocking and really scary. But then it ends in a way that's almost kind of I don't know, like she's free, like she's finally
yeah,
free of this shit that happened, right? And she's in the lodge. Of course, the movie ends with her smiling while she's crying. I mean, what did you think of the ending and how her final moments were portrayed on film?
I mean, it's emotional.
Hmm.
It's very emotional. It's sad, and but also there is that like beauty to it, that is this like thing that she is like safe, like she can't be like hurt anymore
Right.
by these people. And the thing that I've always found so interesting is the connection that they with her and Dale, who are characters who never meet in person,
Hmm.
or they've never met in person, but they have this like almost like psychic connection to one another.
Right.
And like I know a lot of people have interpreted at the end that he is like her angel. Like the
Hmm.
angel is supposed to be like him. It's like supposed to be like, it's not just like there's an actual angel. And then also Dale is like that's it's like this thing that he is like literally connected because he's also the person who literally solves and is able to like you know is able to like figure out the mysteries of like of how she died and then also like try to actually fix everything afterwards,
Yeah.
and even at the expense of himself
Hmm.
also by the end of Twin Peaks, the original series. So it's like it's really beautiful ending. It's a sad, it's a weirdly beautiful ending that I think it's like it's shot in a really great way and like it is very like there is this aspect of like of relief at the end, but it's also just like fucking sad because this was just like Laura was just like a girl who wanted to like fucking live. Like she didn't want this shit to happen to her.
Yeah.
It's not like she didn't wake up one morning and go, I'm gonna start like like just getting addicted to cocaine and like doing you know really you know wild activities at nighttime that I don't tell anybody about.
Hmm.
She was someone who was hurting and trying to emotionally deal with the abuse she was suffering, and she didn't know how to because there was no one there to actually help her.
Yeah. Yeah, there was no one there to offer her any kind of respite, any kind of comfort, which, for a lot of people in that situation, that's all they need. They just need somebody just to acknowledge what they're going through and then be a system of support. So,
Yeah, no,
mhm.
it's just sad. Like this is a I don't know, it's a tragic film, but it's also a great film.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's one of his best. It's really good. I love that it has become reevaluated, and you have people now who are saying that it's their favorite David Lynch film, and that it's one of his best. It definitely is. But yeah, Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me, great film, really uncomfortable, but there's a lot of beauty in the movie as well. Once you get past the really terrifying, scary aspects of it,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, is there anything else we want to say about Twin Peaks: Firewalk with Me before we move on to a much more uplifting film, Lost Highway?
Yeah. I will say this is I would be wary of accepting paintings from Happy Gilmore's grandma.
Okay, it was a nice painting though.
It was very nice. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up for me. Do you have any final thoughts you want to say about Fire Walk with Me?
I just think it's great. I think it's a great fucking movie. I love Twin Peaks, and I really would love to do a Twin Peaks series on here at some point, doing like the original series and then the return later. But yeah, Twin Peaks: Firewalk with Me, definitely go check it out. And if you want to be crazy, you want to do like I did, do like a 48-hour marathon of every Twin Peaks episode from the first two seasons, and then go watch a midnight screening of Firewalk with Me at your local movie theater if that is happening near you. So
That was crazy when you did that. I was like, how did you accomplish that?
basically, I would wake up at like 8 a.m. and I would just watch Twin Peaks all the way until the until the end of the day, just taking bathroom breaks and taking breaks to go have a snack. But I did it. I watched all 30 episodes of Twin Peaks and then Fire Walk with Me in 2 days. So
I mean, that is impressive.
it's the only time I've ever done anything like that. I've never been a binger. I've never been a binge watcher. I think
Yeah.
like the most I'll do is I'll watch like two episodes in a day just because I start to get a headache. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that day was something else, man. But it was good. It was a good experience. It was a good
Yeah.
experience. Um, but yeah, Lost Highway, man. Did you wanna introduce Lost Highway?
Yeah. So we got Lost Highway, directed by David Lynch, written by David Lynch and Barry Guilford, cinematography by Peter Deming, edited by Mary Sweeney, starring Bill Pullman, Patricia Arquette, John Resilius, Louis Esposito, Jenna Maitland, Michael Massey. Oh, yeah, Jenna Maitland, Michael Massey, Robert Blake, Henry Rollins, Michael Samus Wiles, Leonard Turmo, David Bird, Balthazar Getty, Gary Busey, Lucy Buffer, John Solari, Jean Alfred Garrett, Giovanni Ribisi, Richard Pryor, Robert Loggia, Jack Nance, Marilyn Manson, and Lisa Boyle. And the synopsis is anonymous videotapes presage a musician's murder conviction, and a gangster's girlfriend leads a mechanic astray. Also, I think I need glasses because that was very difficult for me to read just now.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. I will say though, Robert Loggia. When you introduce Robert Loggia, you have to say Robert fucking Loggia.
Oh,
That's
of
how
course.
legally you have to introduce him as such.
Oh shit, I didn't want to
Um,
break the law.
the law has been broken, Caleb. You are
Oh
breaking the
fuck.
law, breaking the law. Um, Lost Highway. Um, this is probably the movie that took me the longest to come around to out of his films.
Yeah.
Um, it's actually a movie I saw pretty early in my David Lynch watching. I want to say it's probably like one of the first movies of his I watched, and the first time I watched it, I was not into it. I did not like it.
Yeah.
But the more that I've seen it over the years, the more that I've watched it, I think now I've gotten to the point where I really enjoy this, and I feel like the last few times I've watched this, I've really liked it a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. I mean, Lost Highway. Like sometimes that darkness in the world has been with you the whole time, and it's in your house.
Oh.
He's there right now. Um, Lost Highway. What are your thoughts and feelings on this film, and how did you come to this movie?
So this is one of the first David Lynch movies I've seen, right, that I saw. I think it was I think the first of his features that I saw was Blue Velvet,
Okay.
maybe. So I think this is the second one I saw, the first or second. And I when I first watched it, this is about 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I was like, huh, I don't really understand what's like happening, but I'm digging it. And I'm
Okay.
enjoying it. I'm enjoying the performances. I'm enjoying the cinematography. Love the David Bowie song at the beginning,
Yeah.
which sounds like a weird, fucked up James Bond theme. Really like that. And the opening credits are fantastic in general. Like
Oh
it's
yeah.
an incredible, iconic. Love it.
Hmm.
And then I rewatched it for the first time a couple years, and I was like, okay, last time I watched this, I didn't really understand the actual like what was going on. I was a bit
Yeah.
confused. So I was like, this time, I'm older, I'm wiser. I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna get it. I watched it, and again, I think this is I love this movie. I think it's great. I enjoy the fuck out of it, and I love the performances. I love the cinematography. I still am not entirely sure. Like I know what it's about on a surface level, but I don't know if I for sure understand like what it's about. Like I'm still a bit confused about that, but I like that I'm confused. And
Right.
I didn't want to come into this pretending that like I have all the answers and like to fake it. I just wanted to be genuine. Like I don't feel like I genuinely understand every aspect of this, but that's also fine. I think you can enjoy stuff and not fully get every single thing, especially with like a David Lynch movie. Because I find this to be his most like not his no. I think Mulholland Drive is his most like maybe confusing if that makes sense. But I think Mulholland Drive is like wonderful. But
Yeah.
but with this one I do this is the one that leaves me scratching my head the most.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely it's the first time that I think we see David Lynch kind of do this story of somebody who's consumed by guilt so much that they like envision this fantasy
Hmm.
of how they wanted things to turn out. And of course, that kind of story structure would be used again in Mulholland Drive. I think better
Hmm.
because
Yes.
Mulholland Drive is my favorite film. But yeah, this movie, there's two really interesting things that I learned while doing some research. First is there's an interview with David Lynch where he says that he was inspired to make a film like this because of the O.J. Simpson uh, murders of Nicole Brown Simpson.
I did not know that.
Yes, his whole thing was just like, how do you murder somebody and then just go on living your life? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
And he said that, when he was like reading about people who have done this stuff, one thing that him and his co-writer Barry Gifford, who he did Wild at Heart with, one thing they discovered was this whole concept of like a fugue state that you basically like become another person,
Yeah.
right? And of course, we see that in the film where Bill Pullman literally becomes a different person. He
Yeah.
becomes Balthazar Getty, which is just a wonderful Lynch name.
Yes.
It's great.
And I watched
Um,
it on his birthday.
on Balthazar Getty's birthday, did you send him a
Yeah.
happy birthday note?
No, I don't have his number or his address.
We gotta send him a happy birthday card. And the other quote, or the other thing I found during my research was an interview with Patricia Arquette, the great, the amazingly talented, wonderful Patricia Arquette, where she said that this film, how she saw it, how she interpreted it, was a film about women told from the point of view of a misogynist.
That's wild.
Yeah. And I think that's what's going on here. I mean, you have this character of that Bill Pullman plays. So I have his Fred. Fred's the character.
Yeah.
And Fred is in this relationship with his wife, Renee, played by Patricia Arquette. And clearly there's something going on. They're in this unhappy relationship. They're not in love with each other anymore, I feel like. And she is maybe not seeing other men, perhaps, or at the very least interested in other men. And the jealousy of this consumes Fred to the point where he kills his wife. He
Yeah.
kills her. And he is so racked by the guilt of of that he, on his way to death row to be, be fried by the electric chair, he envisions this entire fantasy where he is a different person and he still is able to, you know, be with Patricia Arquette in some way. But
Hmm.
even in that fantasy, still he cannot have her because he won't. He can never have her. That's what she tells him. And yeah, it's just like it's the way that these horrible men who just they hate women, but they still are with them because again, masculinity. That's like that's the ultimate show of masculinity is you have a woman, but they still hate them so much, and of course you see that a lot in our modern society.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this movie's about. I think this movie is about misogyny and control, and like it's like that tweet, do men even like women?
Yeah.
That's what this is, but in a very tragic way. Um, so I guess that's my interpretation. I guess that's my kind of like view of it. Does that make sense to you? Do you have any ideas or thoughts on that?
That makes a lot of sense actually. It's interesting because like that also really explains because there's that moment where she's describing like, this very humiliating. She's telling but the Balthazar Getty version of him near the end of the movie
Hmm.
about, being humiliated in front of like all of these men
Yeah,
and like, like sexually exploited and he like victim blames her immediately.
yeah,
And that really that's that line when he said that he really stood out to me and I was like, hmm. And I was thinking about it and I was like, yeah, he doesn't have any respect for her. He's an asshole. But then I was like with that interpretation and with her saying that and what you were saying, I was like, that makes complete sense. So it's like he
hmm,
has to like make to like even if he like sees her as like a victim, he still blames her regardless.
yeah. And the way that like the way that he envisions like every single man is just like that every single man is basically like a threat to him and his power,
Yeah.
right? And even when she is in these situations, like obviously we see the scene that she's describing, and at first she has a gun held to her head, but then she kind of like changes her demeanor and she's like smiling and kind of into it, and I think that that's his fantasy. That's how he sees it. That's how a lot of these men, see these moments. Like, oh, we've heard it many times before. Like, oh well, like what were you wearing, right?
Yeah.
Did you ask for it? Like clearly you enjoyed it, right? I mean, there was some Republican lawmaker years ago who said that like, well, if women are sexually assaulted, their body will like, make it so they don't become pregnant or whatever, right? When
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not how anatomy works. You're an idiot. You're stupid. Um, you know, but yeah, this idea that like, oh, well, if you've been, in those situations, like clearly you must have been asking for it. And that's the way that, Fred sees this. And, his alternate ego, sees it as well, because he is a misogynist. He hates women, even though he wants to be with them. Um, and I mean that's what the movie is about. And then of course guilt, just guilt, being consumed by guilt so much that you have to like go into this alternate reality where actually you're a really cool mechanic who's friends with gangsters and everyone likes you, and you get more pussy than a toilet seat, as the cop says in the
Yeah.
in the film, right? So that's what I think is going on throughout the
Yeah,
film.
and
Yeah.
that makes sense. And it's interesting because like I think that like the obvious standout here is Patricia Arquette.
Oh yeah, she's
Like I
incredible in this film.
she's brilliant. She's such a great actor, and like I feel like
Hmm.
it's really frustrating to me because like I'm a big fan of the show Severance, and I know you've watched. I don't know if you finished season two.
I have not finished season two, but I love Patricia Arquette in Severance. She's great in that
Yeah,
show.
and like she does like chew a lot of scenery, and she's like this very bombastic and weird character.
But that's the
And
way the character's written.
yeah, and like it's this thing of like it drives me nuts because I'll see people who love the show go, "Oh man, Patricia Arquette in this is she's doing too much." And she's complaining. It's like, look,
Hmm.
if you don't like Patricia Arquette in Severance, I'm not gonna say it's okay, but I understand. We just can't be friends.
Right.
So it's like that's the way I view it. I think Patricia Arquette is magnificent. Like there's something about what it is too. It's like she has this vibe to her, like where she has an incredible presence on screen. But it's also
Hmm.
like when she like smiles or like opens her mouth, like I think that her because she has this one tooth that really like stands out a little bit. And I'm not saying that in like a
Oh,
rude way. I
okay.
think it's like very it's very charming. I think it's very like I like it. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
And it adds this like I don't there's something about her like especially like there's scenes where like especially in the second half where she feels so she has these like devious smiles she'll do,
Okay.
and it's like it's really and I think it's in the that Richard Balthazar Getty, not Richard Balthazar. I'm mixing up people's names. It's because Balthazar Getty's above Richard Pryor in the Google Doc. I really do need glasses. Is like where it's from that perspective of like viewing her as like from this point of view that she's like this like ooh she's this like woman who like oh like this like that comes from this like hatred of women,
Hmm.
and like she gives you like little performance of her. I'm like damn like I like she like there's some incredible shots of her in this movie.
There really are, yeah. And I feel like with a lot of the visual, the visuals of this film, especially with Patricia Arquette, is very much inspired by like classic film noir and classic Hollywood,
Oh yeah.
um, and of course the and of course it's like a direct reference to this old film noir called The Seventh Victim, where the way that Patricia Arquette looks in the film with her hair and with her big coat, she looks exactly like the character that is played by Jean Brooks in The Seventh Victim, and
Oh.
the movie, which is very easy to find. I think it's public domain. Criterion did a release of it last year. But the movie is about this young woman who joins a satanic cult, and the satanic cult um, tries to they try to convince her to kill herself. But they won't kill her themselves because they don't believe in violence. So they want to convince her to do it to herself. And I don't know. I like obviously there's differences, but it almost feels like there's similarities there of this
Yeah.
woman who is being targeted by this group, and she's on the run and she's in danger, right? A woman in danger, which
Yeah.
is the next film we'll be talking about on our next episode. But I don't know. It feels like it feels very intentional. I feel like David was very intentional when he chose to kind of reference that film with Patricia Arquette's look. but yeah, there is very much like this old Hollywood classic look to Patricia Arquette throughout this film, and she is photographed so wonderfully. Like she looks incredible in this. She's already like a very beautiful woman, but she just looks absolutely gorgeous in this film, and of course, giving an incredible performance throughout, playing two different characters, um, which is a lot of fun to see. So.
No, yeah, and like she's fantastic in this.
Hmm.
And it's one of those things too where like it's so funny being like where like, and I think I have a better understanding of it now based on just the one quote that you told me from her and then from what you were saying. But like, it is also cool because like I think that it's crazy how much like David Lynch's films work even if you don't have a complete idea.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
because like it's like where you kind of just can watch them and go like you're like I don't understand every single thing, but like this is good. Like I am enjoying this. I'm having a great time.
Hmm.
Like there's tension, there's intrigue, like regardless, you know, because like I think people get too obsessed with, and I think maybe we talked about this off the podcast. We talked about this last week, but like people get too obsessed with like understanding every single detail immediately. It's okay
Hmm.
to rewatch a movie and to like think about it more or like get like different understandings the older you get, you know, because like because the older you get, you change, and then your perception of different movies will also change. So you might understand something or even find something there you didn't notice before. It's what's really beautiful about life, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. And going into a David Lynch movie, I think we did mention this last week, is like just kind of let it wash over you. Don't be trying to sit there with like a notepad taking notes of everything that's happening and then analyzing, and just like watch it once, and then you can come back again and then really understand it and really kind of like get something out of it.
Yeah,
And there's a lot to get out of Lost Highway. I think Lost Highway is a very dense film. There's a lot going on here. I mean, it's almost like two movies in one, you know,
yeah,
um, which is interesting because, Twin Peaks Firewalk with Me is kind of like two movies in one.
oh yeah,
But yeah, Lost Highway, I don't know if I want to say that it's an underrated film or underappreciated movie. But definitely when people talk about his films, they usually talk about Mulholland Drive or Blue Velvet, or they'll talk about like Twin Peaks. And I feel like more people should be talking about Lost Highway. I think this film is really good. It's very uncomfortable. It's got some really great tension throughout the film. It definitely has that film noir vibe where everything just feels wrong all the time,
yeah.
and there's like a sense of doom going on. Um, and the way that Los Angeles is portrayed in this film is just so
Oh
eerie,
yeah.
and just so eerie and creepy as well. Um, Talking about characters in this film, of course, we've spoken praises of Patricia Arquette. How do we feel about Bill Pullman, who plays Fred for like the first, half hour of the film, and then he comes back later? What do we think about Bill Pullman? I mean, obviously, Independence Day, one of the greatest films of all time, but how does he do in this movie?
Oh, he's great. Like I think he serves really well, especially for like the first version of the character we're seeing,
Hmm.
as like this jazz musician, because he comes off as this like kind of just like asshole. Like yeah, he's a jazz musician, and it's like his whole personality.
Yeah.
Like when he's talking to those those guys at the beginning, and he's just like the way he's talking about it's just like he's not, and I'm just like I would not get along with this guy. I don't like this guy.
Hmm.
He's off-putting to me. Um,
He is off-putting, and I feel like that's an aspect of David Lynch's films that I really appreciate, is that even when you have this character who's an abusive asshole, I feel like a lot of films portray them in ways that not necessarily condone it, but also you kind of like the villain, right? Like you kind
yeah,
of enjoy seeing the villain do villainous things. And with this film, you kind of don't. Like Fred, the character of Fred is kind of a fucking weirdo and a loser,
yeah.
and he's a little slimy. And I think that's really cool that David Lynch did not portray him as a cool guy that everyone wants to be. He is this weirdo, and I think Bill Pullman did a fantastic job of playing him.
Yeah, no, he like He really did. I think that like in the character Fred works really well, and then the Balthazar Getty version also, where like he
Hmm.
gives a really good performance. He looks so much like Liev Schreiber, it like throws me off.
It does, yes. And, like the first time I saw it, I thought it was Liev Schreiber. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like around that era where he would have been like, because he looks like how Liev Schreiber does in Scream, kind of. So you're like, is that not who that is? But it's not. It's a different man.
Yeah,
Um,
different guy.
but he does a really great job too. Like especially like I think near the end, like whenever he's like whenever he kills that guy
Hmm.
with the table, I think he's excellent there. In general, it's a very it's a very well cast movie. Like you got a lot of like little small roles and people thrown in there. Like you got Richard Pryor in there for a second, which is
Yeah.
rad as hell.
Hmm.
Superman 3's very own.
Yeah.
You Henry Rollins is here. It's great
And
because in a movie that features a cameo from Marilyn Manson, it's great to see an actual good musician is in this.
yeah, yeah, someone who's not a fucking weirdo, and
Yeah,
not weird in a good way, weird in a bad way.
yeah.
No,
Speaking
no,
of not respecting women and hating them,
yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah. I feel like Henry Rollins has a healthy relationship with women.
and Henry and Henry Rollins is a great actor also.
He's really good. Yeah, and he just I remember there was an interview years ago where he was kind of describing like why he acts, and it was basically along the lines of just like I just thought I'd try it out. Like,
Yeah,
but he has that look, and also that really iconic look, and his voice as well. It's just cool. It's cool that he's here, and
yeah,
I think it'd be cool if Henry Rollins was in more stuff. I wonder if
yeah,
David Lynch was listening to Black Flag, and he was like, I got to get that Henry guy. He seems
yeah,
like a good boy, you know.
yeah. Yeah, it's crazy too because Henry Rollins, he's a great voice actor also.
Hmm.
He's plays one of my favorite animated villains, which is he's in one of the seasons of Legend of Korra. He
Nice.
plays this sort of extremely leftist character, and but it does get to the frustrating point where like he is just so correct that like why are you even trying to stop him?
Yeah.
Like at a certain point, he's fantastic in that show. He's great. I love Henry Rollins. I think he's insanely cool.
He is very cool. Yeah. Yeah.
And he's also, as a side note, sorry, I'm going to keep talking about Henry Rollins for way too long here. But
Totally
his last
fine.
name Rollins is why the pro wrestler Seth Rollins is named that.
Cool. Is Seth Rollins a good guy?
Yeah, he's great. And you know
Okay.
who he's married to is Becky Lynch, who is in Star Trek Starfleet Academy.
It all comes back to Star Trek.
It really does.
Everything comes around to Star Trek. I'm sure I know Iggy Pop was in Star Trek, but I'm trying to think of
Yeah.
has Henry Rollins ever been in Star Trek?
Not that I'm aware of, but that would be
I
sick as hell.
We need to fix that. We need to put Henry Rollins needs to be a Klingon. Imagine Henry Rollins as a
That actually
Klingon.
works pretty well.
I mean, have you seen those videos of Henry Rollins when he was performing with Black Flag back in the day when he would like beat up people in the audience who were
Yeah.
causing trouble?
Yeah.
Like there would be people in the audience who would be starting shit, and Henry would just like stop the show and tell him to come up here and beat him up, and he'd like pick up the fucking mic stand and start like waving it at them. Fucking great. That's the kind of
Uh,
energy we need in 2026. Just like if you're starting
yeah.
shit, we're gonna fucking beat you up with a mic stand.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of beating people up, Robert fucking Loja as
Hmm.
Mr. Eddie.
Not a nice man.
Not a nice man, but like a great fucking performance though.
Oh yeah.
I think about that scene where he gets cut off by someone.
Oh
Like that guy who's tailgating him, and then he gets cut off by him, and then he chases him down and like pistol whips him. I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly.
yeah.
And the reason why I think about that, man, is because sometimes I feel like I wouldn't do that when
Yeah.
I'm driving around LA and I see these asshole, people who are going like 70 miles an hour on city streets and are just like cutting across lanes and using the shoulder to go around people. Um, I really identify with that scene. What do you think about Robert Loggia, his character, and this performance that's going on here?
You know that that meme where like it's like Michael Caine as Alfred talking about Bane,
Yeah.
because Bane is the scariest guy I've ever seen in my whole life. That's how I feel about Robert Loggia in this movie.
He is terrifying. Absolutely. He's a scary
Yeah,
man.
and again, like David Lynch loves like a scary man who feels like just this vicious force of nature
Yes. Yes.
in his films. And like, yeah, I think he gives a wonderful performance. Very scary, very he just slimy and dangerous.
Hmm.
And you want that. You want it's great to have characters feel dangerous, so you feel like the other characters in the movie are in trouble.
Yeah. 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 I mean, kind of in the same way that like when Dennis Hopper's character in Blue Velvet, when he's on screen, you feel a sense of danger. And
Yeah.
when in Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, when Leland Palmer is on screen, you feel a sense of danger. And in this one, when Mr. Eddie is on screen, it's like shit, this guy could go off at any moment. And David Lynch just does such a great job at portraying that in that way. He really understands terror, and I think that's why his films resonate with so many people so well.
Yeah, and you described this last week, but like I do agree with you that like it's really weird that his movies aren't considered horror films by like more people.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has to do with the fact that like his films are more like artsy and
Yeah.
experimental, right? And so even though there are horror films that are more experimental and more artistic, a lot of people don't associate the two with that, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, but no, David Lynch's films are horrifying, and some of the scariest moments I've seen have been in a David Lynch film. So
No, exactly. Like he has such a great sense of like terror of just the environment. Like it's like every single like frame of a David Lynch movie has so much going on and it's so impactful.
yeah,
Whether to make you like laugh or to make you uncomfortable or to make you scared or to make you just like confused. It always fucking works. Like he's one of those fucking filmmakers that he just gets the genre on like a level that is like beyond like anything. Like you can't. It's like he just fucking has always understood it. Like even back with Eraserhead, which I know we're not talking about, which we'll eventually talk about. But it's where he just like it's just this understanding of like what makes a film engrossing. Because
yes,
that's what his films are. I would say at the end of the day is there. If there's one word other than like, because a lot of people be like, oh, weird or like strange or kooky, but it's like, no, I would say like engrossing. Like his films are always, you're just like, you want to keep watching and be like, what the fuck is going to happen next? Like, because you don't know unless you've seen it before. And even if you've seen it before, you might not remember it and you might not remember it the right way.
hmm
And that's what makes them so rewatchable and so great. And like why again, I think they're always better on rewatch. Like his films are just fucking magnificent.
yes, yeah, yeah. I think David Lynch is one of the most rewatchable directors. Absolutely. Um, yeah, fucking Lost Highway, man. A film that I have grown to like more and more the more times I've seen it. And who knows, maybe it'll be in my top three someday.
Oh.
Maybe the Academy will do a screening and Patricia Arquette will be able to actually show up.
Oh yeah.
Um, you know, um, which by the way, whatever the reason why, totally understand. Not, because I was going to go to a screening of Lost Highway. Patricia Arquette was supposed to be there, and last minute she had to drop out. And whatever the reason was, it's totally fine. But it would be great to see her like in person, to see her at a Q&A, or even just like say hi to her. Just like, hey, what's up, Patricia? And give her a high
Yeah.
five.
Your
Tell her
brother was
like,
WCW world champion.
yeah, your brother was in a movie as well, right?
Yeah.
You're the best part of Boyhood. So
Is she in Boyhood?
she is, yeah. She won an Academy Award for that film.
Oh, isn't my friend Ethan Hawke is in that too, right?
Yeah, your best buddy Ethan Hawke.
Yeah. You don't like Ethan Hawke in Boyhood?
I like yeah, I like Ethan Hawke. Caleb, I don't like Boyhood.
I know you don't like Boyhood, but like
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that we're not saying things we can't take back about Ethan Hawke. I'm just
No,
checking.
I don't have anything against Ethan Hawke. I don't, Ethan Hawke is a good actor. What do you want? He wears silly
Yeah.
hats.
He does wear
Like,
silly hats.
I don't have anything against Ethan Hawke.
I
Anyways,
never want to watch the movie Boyhood.
have you
If I can
never
avoid
seen
it.
it?
No, I haven't.
Okay, you need to watch it then.
Oh no.
We're
Okay,
gonna we're
sorry.
gonna
This
do it.
is.
We're gonna do a Boyhood podcast.
Do you remember when Red Letter Media did Boyhood and Guardians of the Galaxy in the same episode,
I
and
do remember that.
they switched the descriptions?
Hmm.
That's like my favorite joke that they've ever done, probably. Um,
I don't know. I always really like the joke in Star Wars Revenge of the Sith where he's making fun of Grievous's name. He's like also on the ship is Captain Nefarious, Admiral Bone to Pick, and Captain I'm a bad guy. I always think
yeah,
about that.
that's a really good one.
Yeah. Anyways, don't want to get sidetracked on a Red Letter
Yeah,
Media tangent,
yeah, but
or a Boyhood tangent, or an Ethan Hawke tangent. Why'd you have to bring him into this? Um,
well, I mean, we always have to bring him. Let's see, it's Star Trek and Ethan Hawke. How can we bring them up every episode?
We're gonna have bingo cards made: Star Trek, Ethan Hawke, Red Letter Media, and some other stuff as well.
Yeah,
Um, anyways, anything else we wanna say about Lost Highway? I mean,
yeah. A couple more things is I want to point out this is Jack Nance's final film.
yes, yeah. Before he passed,
Yeah, and Jack Nance is fucking great. He was in like I think all of David Lynch's stuff up to this point.
pretty much, yeah. He was a constant for sure.
Yeah, and he's great. Like, love that guy. He's just like he some of the best line delivery of all time. Like, I
Hmm.
love that. I love that. I love that crazy dude. He's the best. And there's that, and then there's something else I was going to bring up about this movie, and I'm trying to remember what it was because I mentioned the David Bowie song.
Hmm.
I mentioned that I don't. I was honestly gonna go on a rant about how much I don't like Marilyn Manson and how I think his music sucks and his persona is like bullshit and he's like just fake as hell. And I'm not going to because I think he's so shitty that he's not worth spending any more time on. Fuck him.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Fuck Marilyn
and
Manson.
and Gary Busey's in this movie. I mean, that makes sense that
Yes.
he'd be in a David Lynch movie. I suppose that's kind of
Mm-mm.
that works. Um, and yeah, and then but what and I think I think Twin Peaks. I almost said Twin Fire Peaks Walk with Me. Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me is phenomenal. Lost Highway is very fucking great.
Hmm.
Love Patricia Arquette. One thing I was gonna say is like because I was thinking because the Oscars are coming up and like the nominees are out, including
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke for Best Actor, and I was like, what has David Lynch been nominated for? Because I know he got his honorary Oscar
Yeah.
in 2019, but I was like, what has he been nominated for? And I was looking into this, Anthony,
Right.
and I realized so he's been nominated for as Best Director. He was nominated for three times for Blue Velvet, for Elephant Man, and for Mulholland Drive.
Yes.
And the only time he's been nominated for screenplay is for Elephant Man, and the only time he's been nominated for Best Picture is for Elephant Man. So he would just rack up these like best. He got a couple Best Director nods with that, and he didn't win unfortunately, but like he got a couple Best Director nods without his films getting like any other awards. And I know that that's not like super uncommon, like that's not super weird, but it is sticking out to me a little bit because I
Okay.
was thinking, and I was like, it's kind of like the Academy. I think got like he's amazing, and what he is doing specifically is great. But maybe they found but they were like these movies are weird as fuck. I don't
Yeah.
entirely get them, but like he is great and is clearly doing amazing shit as director. So
Hmm.
that's how he would kind of get those. And I don't know. I was just thinking about that a lot this morning.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there have been plenty of really fantastic directors throughout the years who, never got an Academy Award. He's definitely one of them. I do feel like it's really unfortunate, but there was that time, especially at this point in the '90s, where it seemed like David Lynch was kind of like ebbing and flowing with the quality of his films. I mean, Lost Highway was not very well received. Neither was Fire Walk with Me. Mulholland Drive was very well received, but then of course he followed it up with Inland Empire, which was just too damn weird. And I do feel like there's a lot of people who really didn't appreciate him and his films until after the fact, until years later, when a
Yeah,
lot of his movies were re-examined and people realized like, no, wait, these movies actually fucking rock and kick ass, you
yeah,
know? So I think that also has a little bit to do with it as well, is that he was just kind of looked at as kind of like a weird guy who makes those weird movies that
Yeah.
weirdos like, and not appreciated for the incredible artist that he was. And it's great that people are coming around. It's great that, like I said last week, it's great that more and more people are watching his films. Um, but he's always been good. You
Yeah.
know, does everyone else need to catch up? So
Yeah. I mean, it's funny too because like I think his weakest movie is Dune, but
yeah,
even then, it's like that doesn't even feel like his fault at all.
no, that's not his fault. I mean, he that should not have been a movie he made. You know, that should have been made by
Yeah.
someone else. Um, and yeah, it's not his fault that Dune was weird. But even then, like Dune is still kind of charming and in like a really,
Oh yeah.
silly way, I guess I would say. Um, but yeah, I mean, David Lynch's films are fantastic. And if there's nothing, I mean, I guess if there's nothing else we want to say before we log off, I do want to mention that the mechanic shop that we see in the film that is featured in the movie, that
Yes.
also has one of my favorite moments where Patricia Arquette gets out of the car and they're playing this magic moment. Great fucking scene.
Hmm.
That mechanic shop, Caleb, you and I have been to. We've been to that mechanic shop. It's no longer a mechanic shop. It is now called All Seasons Brewing, and it is south of Fairfax, I believe. We've been there. We've had drinks there, you and I, and also with a friend of the podcast, Millie, who was in your who was in your film. Um,
Yeah.
we've had drinks there. We've had tacos there. That's where they filmed the mechanic shop scenes. Is at All Seasons Brewing in Los Angeles. Are you okay?
I I had no idea.
Well, I did tell you once before, but
Did
maybe it
you? Did
was
I just
like
forget?
I think so. It might have been when we were like a couple drinks in already, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, Caleb," it's like, "Did you know that this is where they did, Lost Highway?" But yes, for anyone listening today, right now, on the podcast, watching or listening, the mechanic shop from Lost Highway, you can go to today,
Yeah.
and you can have a drink and a fish taco, and it's pretty cool. It's a cool spot. I really like going there. I
No, I
haven't
do
been
too.
there.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in a minute. It
Me and you went there like 2 years ago, I want to say. It was maybe the last time.
Yeah, but we should go there again sometime. Maybe when
Yeah.
you're down in LA, we should go
I'm
there.
literally gonna be there tomorrow. So,
Yeah. Well,
but when this comes out, I'll be home.
yeah. So nobody can sit like show up and try to get our autographs,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
definitely something that'll happen
Yeah. Get
someday.
that fucking camera out of my face.
Yeah. But yeah, all Seasons
That's
Brewing
crazy.
Company. If you want a good glass of beer and a good fish taco, they're a good place to go. Just a word of warning though, it can get really loud in there. So if you
Yeah. Oh,
have
yeah.
sensitivity to you get overstimulated by sound, just definitely keep that in mind that it can get very loud.
Yeah.
Um,
And like, I will also say the mechanic shop from Lost Highway becoming a brewery is like, oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. It's much cooler than the fact that the theater from Mulholland Drive is now an Apple store.
yeah. Which you can also still go to. You can go in and take pictures, and a lot of people do. But yeah, it's just depressing because you're like, wow, this used to be an amazing theater, and now it's a place where people buy overpriced phones
Yeah.
made by child slave labor. But anyways, um, Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, um, Lost Highway, two great films,
Yeah.
underappreciated, have now been reevaluated, and people are coming around to the fact that they're both fucking masterpieces. So
Yes.
there you
Yeah.
go. Definitely go watch them. Um, Join us next time on our next episode when we wrap up this David Lynch series, but it will not be the last time we ever talk about David Lynch. We'll be sure to talk about him again in the future because we still have a few more of his films we haven't seen yet and TV shows. So,
Yes.
yeah, if you like David Lynch, definitely stick around. My name, it's Anthony,
And my name's Caleb.
and we'll see y'all next time. Good night.